Chepek kuduelo mabiro etu under mic. Dong parodit kod jok mawuoye etu under mic. Seche tin sud buta wawinji etu under mic. Wola wachokre wabed piny biwa winje ero chako moment ndi and a podcast makende.
Till the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the back. It rained iron pellets, each one landed like a grenade. People were smiling upwards almost in surprise. This hadn't been on the cards. Mildly cloudy, a breezy spring day, and the barricade 1 million people deep. Till the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the back. It won't happen again, not on our watch. That's what we were taught in school. Instead of learning how to say meaningful things, though, they should have taught us what to do when it did all happen again. And all we did was watch till the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the back. We were there when injustice came to visit. We saw it waltz right on in, and we were sure it gave the patriots a wink as it pushed open the doors. And they had to be patriots, because they were dressed in flags from head to toe. They looked like really proud boys. Oh, they were proud. They were oh so proud when they pointed their fingers like daggers. They swiped rain-soaked hair away from their faces as they turned towards us. They were proud. But we stood tall because justice was on our side, and there was no way we could fall. Till the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the back. I couldn't see how it all happened like it did. Or that rain. It rained so much the drops hit like punches as they bounced off the ground. And still fires burned all around us. We were just protesting. Nobody had brought a weapon. Someone had thrown one of those funny named cocktail bottles. We were 1 million people deep when the bottle splashed and smashed in flames around our feet. We were under attack. Peaceful protests, and they were attacking us. All we were doing was what we'd been taught. When confronted by authoritarianism, follow the rules, the democratic rules, and protest in peace, so that justice would prevail. Till the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the back. All the while we were learning what democracy was, why it was important, and how so many wars had been fought to protect it. All the soldiers who had died for it. All the politicians talking about democracy. So many speeches and movies, and all they talked about was democracy. We were sure democracy was sold to us as people power. But we were people too. And we were being democratic. We weren't hurting anyone. We were standing there in the rain, singing songs, holding banners with writing being washed away by the rain. That was our right. That's what all those wars had been fought for. But all that time they were selling us democracy. The authoritarians were buying up political capital with our blood-soaked taxes. We were sweating our democracy away, and we didn't even realize. Generation after generation, working for the man, doing our bit for the good of all. And the patriots pointed their dagger fingers, and the bottle bombs landed at our feet, and the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the back. Democracy was about everyone, they said. We have to fight to protect it. Our kids had to go away and fight strangers who years later we bought food from because their cultures were so rich. Their kids came to study in our schools. They worked in our companies and they created great big communities. But by then the wars were over. It was the power of democracy that brought them here. They had been cowed by the power of the market, the free market. but it was never free to us. And our kids that went to fight and that didn't come back, they paid a price for all that too. But the patriots dressed in flags, well, they didn't go to fight. They were too busy pointing daggers at peaceful protesters, dropping bombs at the feet of unarmed civilians, because they were proud boys. So our kids didn't come home, at least not in one piece. And the ones that did, well, some of them left their minds back in those killing fields, or their souls, or their will. They fought to protect our democracy because I can rewatch all the speeches of all those important politicians, and I know they said it because I studied them saying it. But the democracy our kids died fighting for, that brought us the culture we pay to enjoy, and which built the industry our taxes now fund in the countries where the bodies of our kids lie, well, that democracy just doesn't feel right. It doesn't fit. It's too tight around the collar. I remember because someone said, "I can't breathe." None of us could breathe that day. Some of us never truly breathed. We were never taught how. You see, we paid our taxes. We sent our kids to die. We worked our industries so well, they grew wings and flew away. We praised our bosses until they got so rich, we couldn't see them behind all that importance. We voted because that's what democracy said we had to do, and the politicians promised us we would be great. Again. But I had studied history, and I knew we had never been great. Even when countries called themselves great, that greatness never trickled down to us. So we protested to let them know we had voted for them to look after us. They said they wanted to listen to our concerns. They told us to speak up loud and clear, and that they had listened. But when the rain washed away our dreams, and the bottle bombs fell at our feet, and the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the back, we stopped time. The rain didn't stop. We just didn't notice it anymore. We didn't run from the firebombs. We stepped through them and put the flames out with our bare feet. We didn't give our backs to the peacekeepers to put their knives into. We didn't raise our fists or break ranks. We were 1,000,000 deep. Can you imagine the sound of 1,000,000 pairs of feet walking together on rain-drenched, fire-bombed streets? Can you behold the sound of 1,000,000 voices singing like angels? Can you withstand the anger of 1,000,000 voters holding receipts of democracy? We came to get our refunds on decades of lies and manipulation. We stopped reading their bull in newspapers owned by con artists whose daddies played secret games on unsaintly little islands. We were cashing those chips in. 1,000,000 working people, and we had nothing left to lose. They had taken our ability to buy homes. They had stolen the value of our money. They had forced us to buy debt so we could learn how lucky we were in books that sold us systems in a world that had never really existed. They had falsified our principles. They had mangled our votes. They had fixed the law. They had made us feel like we were nothing. And they had killed our kids so we could sing their anthems for the price of a rag. So yes, when the peacekeepers came to knife freedom in the bank, we walked right on past and kept walking, because that's when we realized none of it really existed. None of it mattered. It was like the crappy coding had finally crashed and our minds, 1,000,000 liberated minds, had suddenly decided to reboot themselves. And that's what we did. Our minds, the only things we could ever truly control, suddenly broke free, and everything snapped. Chaos ruled. It ruled for years. It became desperate. But we were free. And all it had taken was the sudden realization that words, big, powerful, meaningful words, were just lies with badges and uniforms and flags. They were false stories. They were paper buildings in raging rivers of mendacity. And all it took to beat the whole damn thing was a single, simple, two-letter word, repeated over and over by a million mouths. No. The plates stopped spinning and crashed. And the people, us, we the people, won our dignity by remembering it had been ours all along. Two, and a mic.